It was midday. The school bus rambled along a dusty road and came to a halt at the shore of Rainbow Lake. Out jumped a bunch of noisy kids, giggling, backslapping, and tripping one another. "Let's settle down right here," suggested Miss Sue, their teacher, pointing to a grassy patch beside a tree. The kids did as they were told and dashed over to place their backpacks filled with snack boxes, bottles, notebooks, and drawing material. Some of the children took out their binoculars, some put on their hats and sunglasses, and some pulled out their books, ready to get busy. Theirs was a grade 3 class, and they'd come a long distance to study the plants growing around the remote lake. "Look there! I think that's the largest lily pad ever!" screeched Una with utter delight. And in an instant the others scrambled up close and peered in the direction she was pointing in. "And here's an even bigger one," said Rumi, placing his binoculars back on his nose. "We could use it like a boat and paddle around," joked Sophia. "I bet I could beat you in a boat race," chirped in Priya, while her friend had an even more imaginative idea. "We should try walking on these giant leaves to reach the other end of the lake." "Shh," interrupted Miss Sue just then. "You kids have to stop this racket. We don't want to disturb the natural habitat." The children gazed at the lake to look at the amazing lilies floating serenely on the water. The environment was tranquil, with only the rhyming buzz of an insect here or the croaking of a water toad there. "Open up your notebooks now and make a sketch of whatever you see. Then make sure you write down about the sizes of the leaves and the shapes of the flowers in the water. There is so much to learn from nature," Miss Sue exclaimed dreamily. Those listening intently immediately got to work and started jotting down stuff, while others did nothing of the sort. Jeet rolled up his trousers and gingerly put his foot in the water and looked at the teacher for approval. But she didn't seem to mind and nodded her head and said, "It's okay, it's shallow at the shoreline, but don't step forward." Taking the cue, more of them decided to do the same. The afternoon continued on lazily. Some children splashed each other while others worked seriously on their writing. "I'm hungry," declared someone just then, and headed to his backpack to grab his snack, and his buddies did the same. "Hey, look at that strange bird," Priya shouted all of a sudden. "It's got crazy feet that are popping out of its belly," squealed Una, after almost clapping her hands in delight. "Shh, I told you all to be quiet," warned Miss Sue again. "Whoa! That bird definitely looks super strange," agreed Jeet from under a tree. Then, grabbing his binoculars, he went closer to the water. "Wow! It looks even weirder through these," he exclaimed, kneeling on a large boulder. The others dropped what they were doing to stare at the bird as it made its way across the water. The bird took careful strides over the lily pads, and from a distance it appeared as though it were walking on water. Seeing the commotion, Miss Sue joined them. "Yes, it's strange indeed," she said, shielding her eyes with her palms. Then she began to mumble something to herself as the bird made its way carefully over the leaves. It does look rather odd, but I think I remember now what bird this is," said Miss Sue, and then she raised her voice just a little, her eyes glued to the bird. "I'll tell you everything about it once I recollect more. In the meantime, it would be a good idea for all of you to write a description of the bird as well." She paused for a few moments and then murmured, "It seems to be moving away from something. In a hurry, I think." While the teacher continued talking to herself, the children stood beside her staring at the unusual bird. One of the more curious children took a few more steps deeper into the water and attempted to balance himself. Just then, Miss Sue's voice rang out sharply. "There's a dark greenish shadow in the water right there beside that big leaf. I wonder what that could be." That very instant, all of them noticed the dark shadow that their teacher was talking about and froze. It looked like a dangerous creature lurking in the water, and it had a pair of large, scary eyes. "Oh my gosh!" exclaimed Miss Sue hurriedly. Move back now!" She almost jumped back then, and with her the children did too. Some that were confused just stayed put. "I think there's a crocodile in the water," she screamed. "Quick, into the bus, now!" Her outburst made all the children clamber over one another towards land and then tumble headlong into the bus. Once they were all inside the bus, they looked out and saw a movement in the water. Yes, it was definitely a crocodile, and they all stared in horror as the frightening creature swam away. After the crocodile had disappeared, an eerie silence fell in the bus. The children just sat motionless, staring at the lake, too shocked to speak. A while later, however, their attention was drawn to the bird that they had seen before. The bird had managed to scurry toward the edge of the pond by then, and it began to ruffle its wings awkwardly. Soon after, some tiny feathered moving things began to jump out from under its wings. The children gasped at the sight until Una broke the silence. "Oh, look! Those are baby birds! Mummy Bird saved her little family from the crocodile!" she exclaimed. And who would have guessed that those crazy alien feet dangling out of its chest were actually its little chicks? "What a surprise!" laughed Sophia, and the others joined the giggling. Miss Sue, who had calmed down by then, found her voice and remarked, "No, it's not a mummy bird. It is in fact a daddy bird. It's called a jacana." "A jacana?" echoed the children as they tried to make sense of what their teacher was saying. Encouraged by their interest, Miss Sue continued, "Male jacanas are known to be the protectors and carers of their young ones. The female jacana leaves her babies behind and goes away." The children listened awestruck as the Daddy Jacana's little ones snuggled close to him. "This Daddy Jacana has saved his little babies from the crocodile. And he has also saved all of us," announced someone, while Miss Sue prepared to drive the bus out. The bus moved away soon after, and the children looked back at the lake one last time. One of the children waved and shouted out, "Thank you, Daddy Jacana! You saved our lives!"